Alright, my little math friends, now we are back and we are moving on into Chapter 6. Now we have Chapter 6.2c. Now we're going to be solving algebra equations. They're going to have addition and subtraction, just like we've done, but this time they're going to be in real-world problems. So what we want to do is we want to take a real-world problem like this, and we're going to write an algebra equation, and then we're going to solve it, just like we have been doing. Okay, and I have some steps here for you. Let's go through and let's jump right in it. We'll read through these steps and figure out how exactly we're going to set these up and solve them. Okay, so step number one, just like all the real world problems we've been doing, we want to read through the problem, and as you're reading through, you want to get a picture of what is going on. Okay, a scuba diver is swimming at an elevation of negative 12.2 feet. Okay, so a scuba diver swimming underwater right there at that elevation. The diver rises toward the surface. Okay, so picture that, and is now at an elevation of negative 4.55 feet. Okay, we want to write an algebra equation and find the distance the scuba diver swam. Alright, so step number two is underline the question or the task. Sometimes we have a question or we have a task. This time we have a task. We want to write an algebra equation and find the distance the scuba diver swam. Okay? And then step number three, we want to identify the facts. Okay, we've been through these steps before. Identify your facts. Here's our first one. We know that the scuba diver was swimming at this elevation. The diver rises toward the surface and is now at this elevation right here. Okay, those are our math facts. Number four, we're going to name the variable. Okay, so we're going to name the variable, the thing that we do not know, the thing we're trying to find out. Alright, and this is where your super math tip alert kind of comes in here. Alright, a super math tip for you. The question or the task is going to tell you what the variable is. Okay, the variable, the thing we don't know, is the distance the scuba diver swam. Okay, that is going to be this right here. That is going to be our x. So I'm going to say x, and that's going to equal the distance swam. Okay, that's the thing that we're trying to solve. Alright, there is your super math tip alert that's going to give you exactly what the variable is. Okay, now step number five, we're going to build an algebra problem. Okay, so when building an algebra problem, here's what we're going to have. We're going to have an equal sign. Alright, and we're going to have something on this side of the equal sign, and then we're going to have something on this other side of the equal sign. We're going to set up an algebra problem, and then we're going to solve it. Okay, so we need to decide what is going to go over here on this side of the equal sign. And how you decide that is you want to look at, in these story problems, you want to look for either a start or a finish. Okay, you want either the starting number or the ending number. Alright? In this story problem, we have both. See how it says they started swimming at this level and they ended at this level? Okay, that is good. We have both of them in this story problem. So if that's the case, we're going to go with the finish number. The last thing that happened is that the diver is swimming at this elevation. Okay, so I'm going to put that right over here. Negative 4.55. Okay, this is where we ended. Okay, this is the finish. And over here on this side, we're going to build the equation to find out how we got to that point, how we got to this finish. Okay, I like to draw some pictures. It kind of helps me out. So I'm just going to draw a line here to represent a scuba diver being underwater. Alright, we know that the scuba diver was down here at negative 12.2 feet, and then the scuba diver swam toward the surface. Alright, and now the scuba diver is at negative 4.55 feet. We are trying to find out what this distance is right here. Okay, and that is the x. That's what we're trying to find, the distance that they swam from down here up here. Alright, now a little bit of math honesty for you. You may be thinking to yourself, Mr. Peterson, I can find this distance without doing algebra. I can just simply subtract those numbers to get that. Why do I have to go through all these steps to do algebra? Okay, that is a good, honest question. And if you want to set it up like that and solve it like that to help you, I have no problem with that. That is a good skill to use. But I am going to ask you to build an algebra problem because this is a skill I am trying to teach you. I'm trying to let your mind think a different way to build on this skill, to learn how to build algebra problems, because you are going to need this in the future for other math classes when things get a lot more difficult. Okay, so I'm trying to do this to get you ready for things that are going to be coming up in your future that you're going to need this skill for. Okay, so I am doing this for you. Alright, so let's get back to this algebra equation. Let's set this up. We need to build what is going on this side. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our negative 12.2 feet. That's where he started. Alright, and then we know he swam, he rose toward the surface. Okay, rising, that's going to be adding. So we're going to add a certain amount of feet. Okay, this is our variable. We're going to add a certain amount of feet to get to this number right here. Okay, it kind of makes a story. He was swimming here, he swam up toward the surface, now he is here. Okay, perfect. We just set up this algebra problem. Now we're going to go about solving this. Alright, just like we have been doing. Alright, we need to cancel out the number that is over here using our steps. To cancel out this number, we need to do the opposite. So the opposite of negative 12.2 is positive 12.2. That lets me cancel that off. And then I'm going to add positive 12.2 over here because I have to do the same thing to the other side. Draw my line, bring my x down, bring my equal sign down. Then I have to do the math on this here, and when we do that math, when we take negative 4.55 plus 12.2, that is going to get me 7.65 feet. Okay, and we just solved it. That is our answer. Alright, and if you were one of those that actually subtracted this without doing the algebra, then you'll be able to check your answer to see if you got that right. Alright, 7 is to check. You can check it just like I explained here, or you can actually put this back into our algebra problem and go negative 12.2 plus 7.65 and check to see if you get negative 4.55. Alright, you can always check that to see if you get it to work. Okay, we are on a roll. Let's work out a few more of these ones. You guys are going to be doing just fine at these algebra problems. Alright, let's check out this other one. We have an airplane that descends 7,920 feet and is now at an elevation of 27,720 feet. Write an algebra equation and find the elevation of the plane before the descent. Okay, so picture that a plane is going down and it is now at this elevation. We just did step number 1. We read through the problem. Alright, step number 2, underline the question or the task. Alright, question or task. It can be either. Here's our task. Write an algebra equation. Find the elevation of the plane before the descent. Okay, that's our key part, before the descent. That is going to be what our variable is. I'm just going to put an X there right now because I know what that is going to be. Let's identify some math facts up there, guys. Identify your math facts. The plane is descending 7,920 feet. Descending means it is dropping, so I'm going to put like a minus sign there to kind of help me remember that. And we know that the plane is now at 27,720 feet. Alright? We identified the math facts. We just named the variable already. Our question told us. Remember that super math tip that I gave you. The question tells us what the variable is. The plane before the descent, so x is going to equal before descent. Okay, that's what we're trying to focus on. Where was the plane at before it dropped down 7,920 feet. All right? Build the math algebra problem. Okay? Just like I said in the other word problem, you want to look for either the start or finish when you are setting up these algebra problems. Okay? Here's our equal sign. And we want the start or the finish over here. In this case, we don't have a start, but they do give us the finish. It says the plane is now at this elevation. That is our number. That's going to be over here all by itself. Okay, is our finish number, where we ended up at. Okay, so now we just need to fill in this part over here. You can draw a picture if that helps you. Okay, here's a plane. Okay, let's say the plane is going down. Now the plane is at 27,720 feet. All right, we know that this distance it descended. It started up here somewhere. We don't know what that is. That's what we're trying to find. And it went down 7,920 feet. Okay, so basically we have this mystery number minus this distance gets us this final elevation right here. That is how we are going to set it up. We are going to say the distance the plane started minus the distance it actually went down gets us this number right over here. We just set up our algebra problem. Now, step number 6, we are going to solve this thing just like we did in the other lessons of chapter 6. Now we just need to solve. What's the opposite of subtracting 7,920? That would be adding 7,920. Okay? Now we can cancel that number out. It's all about trying to cancel the number over here with the variable. Now we have to do the same thing. We have to add 7,920 over here on this side. Draw my line across. Bring down everything that's still left. My x is up there. I'm going to bring down my equal sign, and when I add those two together, that's going to get me 35,640 feet. Okay, there is our answer. We just solved that. All right, now you might have gotten that answer just by adding these two together without doing the algebra problem. That's fine, but I still want you to practice building the algebra problem because I'm going to grade you on that. But it is okay to solve it using another method to make sure you get the right answer. Use that tool. That is great. Alright, check your answer. You can do that just the way I told you, or you could go and put your answer in here for x, 35,640 feet. Take away 7,920 feet and make sure you get 27,720 feet. Okay, make sure you get that number. That will tell you if you got the right answer or not. Alright, I have one more problem for us to work through, and then I'm going to give you a try this problem. Okay, we're going to go through our same steps. We're going to read through this problem. Amy has some money in her checking account. Alright, she writes a check for $45.75. She now has a remaining balance of $95.60. So you can picture that going on. She has an account. She wrote a check. Money went out because that means money is leaving your account when you write a check. Now she has this much money left. Write an algebra equation and find the balance of her checking account before she wrote the check. Alright, so we are going to underline the question or task. Write an algebra equation. Find the balance of her account before she wrote the check. Okay, that's our key thing. That is going to be our variable. We want to know what her balance was before she actually wrote that check. Alright, identify the facts. Okay, she writes a check for $45.75. Writing a check, we know that is taking money out of the account, so I'm going to put a minus sign there because I know money is going to leave. We are going to name the variable. Step number 4. Our variable is going to be our before balance. Alright, so I'm just going to put x equals before balance. Okay, what she started with. Alright, how much money she started with. Step number 5, we're going to build the algebra problem. Alright, we have our equal sign here. Remember, look for the start or the finish, and we want to go with the finish is mostly what is going to end up over here on this side. Alright, we don't have a starting amount, that's what we're trying to find, but we do have the finish amount, $95.60. Alright, now we just need to fill in what the math problem is going to be over here. You can draw a picture if you like. Let's say using just a straight line or something helps out. Okay, we have our checking account here, and this can be our beginning balance, which we don't know is X. Alright, then some money disappeared, some money left, and that was the check of $45.75, and then now she has $95.60. Okay, sometimes drawing it out on a line like this helps get a visual. She had this much money, she wrote a check, now she dropped down to this much money left. Okay, so basically we have X minus this amount is going to give us the account balance. So we're going to write that out. We have her starting balance minus $45.75 is going to get us $95.60. Now we just need to go about solving this. We are on step number 6. Alright, same as before. We need to do the opposite of subtracting 45.75. So we're going to add $45.75 to get that to cancel. Do the same thing over here, add $45.75. Okay, bring down what we have left. We have X that we didn't cross off, we have the equal sign, and now we have to do the math on that there. And when we add those numbers together, we get $141.35. Okay, step 7, you can check. Alright, maybe you solved this already by knowing that you had to add those two together to get the account balance, and hopefully you got that number. Or you can put it into the equation and see if it works out. You can take $141.35, take away $45.75, and then see if you get $95.60. Okay, you can put that number in. Alright,